Some reason you that you were a GM in Nigeria, you come to Canada and you begin to get scared. You see that job that you know that you're qualified.
Girl, I see your face everywhere. When I'm going out, you'll be there.
Hi guys, welcome back to
Everything
my
reminds
channel.
me
If
of
it's your
you.
first time of seeing my face, welcome. My name is Obey, and on this channel I share my experience as a mom and as a career woman, hoping that you learn from me and I learn from you. Well, I just want to say thank you to my subscribers. You guys have been amazing. The engagement has been wonderful. I appreciate every one of you. And to my new subscribers, oh my god, it's overwhelming how many of you have kind of engaged on this channel. I just want to say thank you. Stick around. It's fun over here. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot of stuff together, and it's going to be a fun place to be. So if you like my content, you'll like the kind of things I talk about on this channel, do it to like, subscribe, and share. And just feel free. We have fun on this channel, so just kind of engage. If there's anything you want to ask, any questions you need to ask, or anything you want to talk about, why don't you just leave me an email, and I'll be sure to answer every questions that you have. So we're just going to jump right into today's. So one of the major mistakes that immigrants make when they're moving to a new country is that they don't do their own personal research. You just go off what people tell you, maybe friends and family, and you don't do your own digging to know what exactly works for you as a person. That is one of the mistakes people make. For example, if you're moving into Canada and you just know that, oh, my family and friends live in Ontario, and you don't do your own background research, you find out that at the end of the day, you move there and you're struggling because probably you cannot afford to get a house there. The standard of living is too high. And I noticed that most immigrants, because of the cost of living, most people tend to go to smaller cities like Saskatoon, Regina, and Calgary, cities that are not as expensive, so they can find time to settle. But if you don't do this research, you find yourself in a province that is very expensive, and then you struggle. So I advise that when you're moving to a new country, especially to the Western countries, Canada, it's good to just make your own research, find out where it works for you, check what's happening in that city, what's the job market like, what's the standard of living in that city is like, what your chances are to get a house, things like that. Those are the things that you need to do your own background check your own situation, and then find a place that is suitable for you. You might say, oh, your family and friends live somewhere, but what if it doesn't suit you as a person? So the best thing for you to do is make your own research. Another very big mistake that immigrants make when they move into a new country is that they lose confidence. For some reason, you that you were a GM in Nigeria, you come to Canada and you begin to get scared. You see that job that you know that you're qualified for, that you know that you have all the skills and experience to bring to that job. You get scared and you don't apply for the job. You go to the store, you see people, say whites or other people, you get scared, you lose your confidence. That shouldn't be. Yes, you're moving into a new country and you're just trying to settle in, but you have to keep your head high. If you keep your head high, you'll be able to chase your dreams. Remember that your dreams are valid. If you had a plan in your mind before you moved into the country, don't change your mind or change your plans because you feel like, oh, you are in a new place and you're scared. Yes, it's good to know the terrain, but also do not lose your confidence. Ask questions, meet people, network, and then know what works in the area where you are. For example, you go into the store and you see them using self-service. Don't get scared, don't get intimidated. Use style. Just look at what somebody is doing, and then when it's your turn, you do your own. Like, it's not rocket science, let me tell you. So there's nothing to be worried about. I remember the first time I traveled out and I went to the UK. I wanted to buy a cup of coffee, and I was jittering and scared. Coffee I needed, it wasn't what I actually wanted. But yeah, as time goes on, you learn what happens or what is applicable where you are, and then in no time you'll be a pro. Moving on from that, another mistake that I know that immigrants make when they move into a new country is sticking with their own community. You don't make friends outside of your community. For example, you're a Nigerian, you move to Canada, and the only people that you know or the only circle of friends that you talk to are Nigerians. Then how do you know what is attainable or what you stand to gain in the country if you're not mixing? There are some information that people from your community will have that other people will not have, and vice versa. So the best thing for you is to mix. Even in your workplace, you go out in the store, try and make friends, mix with people. That way you can exchange ideas. Everybody moved into the country around the same time you moved in. So if you are deciding to buy a house, Or say you want to buy a house and you're buying a house at the same time when maybe people that you know are buying houses almost at the same time. You do not actually know which builder has the strongest structure or which builders are good because those houses are new. You are not sure if the houses usually have like structural issues or stuff like that because the houses are new, so you can't figure that out. But if you mix with people that have been in the country or in the city you are in for a while, people from other communities, you might get information like that saying, oh, don't do with that builder because that builder isn't good. I've been here a couple of years. I've had a lot of people, or I know someone who has bought from them and had issues, just sharing informations within communities. So stuff like that. That's why I feel like immigrants most time make mistakes and just stick to their own community, thereby limiting themselves from how much they know or how much they get to learn. Moving on from that, another thing is accruing too much debt. Sometimes immigrants move into the country and then you get wowed by how everybody's willing to give you credit card. There are buy now pay later programs. There are a lot, like you can loan a car as long as you have a good credit, and people get enticed and just keep taking things, and accruing so much debt. At the end of the day, you find out that you have so much debt and you're struggling to pay off your debt. So yeah, you have to be careful. I'm not saying that you cannot take loans, but just be careful on how much loan you take. Make sure whatever loan you're taking is something that you can pay off. Make sure that you also have enough left to save even after paying your loan on a monthly basis. That is one mistake that immigrants make when they move into a country. Just collecting every loan that comes their way, every credit card they take, everything they take. They're going to take car loan, buy furniture on loan and everything. I know in Nigeria or Africa where we come from, loan is not a big thing. People don't really take loan. But here you have to take loan to be able to build your credit. That's the way that a lender will know that you can pay off your loan if you take one. So I usually say to people that when you want to take loan, make sure it is something that you can pay off. Make sure it's not something that will overstretch you. If you're taking a mortgage, something that you can afford and still have a little left back in case there's an emergency, you can still save something. This point I want to talk about, I know that a lot of people are sitting on this table, but I am going to shake this table. However, I'm still going to shake this table whether you like it or not, and that one is eating only African food. You have come all the way from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, wherever you came from, and you want to be only eating your African food, and you know how expensive it is to get African food. Personally, what I do is that I find substitutes that are sold in the regular store so that I don't have to spend so much on feeding. If I find just weekly groceries, we don't spend more than 200 or 300. That's if we're just doing groceries. But there are some things that we'll buy in bulk because we shop in Costco. There are sometimes we buy things in bulk and we might not have to buy them again for like 2 or 3 months. But our everyday food that we buy, our regular food that is there in the grocery store. Now you can if you're trying to buy African food every time and eat only African food, say you're trying to buy yam, beans, stuff like that are expensive, and before you know what's happening, you're spending so much money on groceries and you don't have enough to save. That's one mistake that people make. In one of my vlogs, I showed one Indomie noodle that I buy from Costco as a substitute for Nigerian noodle. In a pack, it contains maybe 30 or 40 and it's for about $13 or $14 thereabout. But I bet you Indomie noodles in African market cost way more than that. So yeah, eating African food is one mistake that we make. I'm not saying we cannot eat our African food, but we should make it like a delicacy or something that you eat like once in a while because it is expensive. I usually look for substitutes just to make sure that I don't miss home so much, but then I still can save some money because we know African food is really expensive. So if you can look for substitutes, that way you don't get to spend so much on food. So the last thing on my list to talk about today is sticking on survival jobs. I know this one is not like everybody wants to do it. It's not like it's what everybody wishes for themselves, but sometimes it can be hard to really get that job of your dream. But one thing I want to say is that some immigrants have chances to get better jobs, but they'll say things like, oh, I don't want to get a better job so that I don't stop receiving benefits. And I feel like that is not attainable. Like, it is not something to be proud of. People tend to stick to survival job because they, for some reason or the other, just feel like it's best for them. And that is one thing that a mistake immigrants make. You have to try and develop yourself. Think about things that will make you stand out and do those things so that you stand a better chance in the job market. You cannot come all the way, thousands of miles to this country and then be mediocre. I always say to people that I did not come here to be mediocre. I came here to cash all the way out. So if there's anything that I need to do to put me in a very good position, I do it. I read, I try to do more research and stuff like that, just to know what is going to make me, stand out and have a better chance. Some immigrants make this mistake of sticking to survival jobs because they say, oh, I want to work from home. Ask yourself, do you want to continue to receive CCB, or do you want to live a better life? So yeah, that's one mistake that immigrants make. And I feel like if you are more aware and more intentional and you do those background research and take your time, you actually be able to get out of survival job. Life is sweet, and survival jobs will not give you that sweet life. So for you to get that sweet life, you need to enrich yourself, do career development, and then the sky is your starting point. Guys, I've come to the end of today's video. If there's any more thing that you feel that was a mistake that you made in your journey settling in Canada and you want to share, please do well to leave it in the comment section below. There's a lot of conversation going on in the comment section, and I'm sure people will want to read from you. If you have any questions, any comments, or anything that you want to share or you want to ask me, do well to send me an email. I've received a couple of emails from people, and I try my best to answer as promptly as I can. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, do well to leave in the comment section. And also, if there's anything you want me to talk about on this channel, something you want me to shed more light on, let me know in the comment section, and I will try my best to make sure I put that information out there. So thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you for being part of today's video. Thank you for watching today's video. And I just want to say, continue to share your ideas with me, and until we see in my next one, have a nice day. But sometimes it can be really hard to get that job of your dream. Do a lot of digging, find out what works for you. Oh my God.
Girl, I see your face everywhere. When I'm going out, you'll be there. Everything reminds me of you. I can't take no more. Girl, I think I'm losing my mind. Try to go to work, but I lost track of time. 'Cause everyone keep looking like you. I can't take no more.